He's just one game away from being the NBA champ, being in the history of this game, being always there.
The spin move, the finish! Giannis Antetokounmpo with one of the most iconic performances in the storied history of the NBA Finals. And the slam from Antetokounmpo! The long wait has ended after a half century. The Milwaukee Bucks are NBA champions once again. I'm at the top.
I wanted to do it here in the city. I wanted to do it with these guys. Did it.
So the last time we saw NBA action, Giannis and the Bucks were celebrating an NBA championship. Now, before teams get a start at chasing the next one, a new set of protocols must be set as the state of health continues to change each and every day in our country. Sources told ESPN on Tuesday that NBA players will not be mandated to get the COVID vaccine, but NBA referees and most NBA staff must be vaccinated. Over 85% of NBA players are currently vaccinated, but players who choose to not be vaccinated will still be subjected to testing and other precautions. Late last month, the NBA sent a memo on proposed guidelines for unvaccinated players this season, ranging from requirements to sit away from teammates on the road to mandatory compliance with social distancing. They also must undergo testing on game days and practice days and could be subjected to a mandatory 7-day quarantine if deemed a close contact to a positive test.
Rockets have committed to youngsters Kevin Porter Jr. and Jalen Green as their backcourt moving forward, and they don't think John Wall works as a bench player at 31, and Wall apparently agrees. So the two sides are working to find a trade destination for Wall. He's due nearly $92 million over the next 2 seasons, which could complicate things. Here's Adrian Wojnarowski.
There's no contract that is completely untradeable. This might be pretty close to that, especially if this is a Rockets team that, number one, doesn't want to attach assets to a trade, meaning if you're going to take on this money, we were going to give you first-round picks. They don't want to do that. And John Wall and his representatives, they don't want to do a contract buyout where they have to give money back to then become a free agent and be able to sign at a much lower number. And so John Wall's going to be in training camp, but he's not going to play in games. I think trading John Wall with 2 years left and over $90 million is almost impossible unless the Rockets all of a sudden decide that they're willing to attach a number of first-round picks. And I don't see that scenario. I think he's going to be in Houston a while.
The only guard set to take on more cash in the upcoming season is Stephen Curry. John Wall's real plus-minus was basically zero last season, far worse than his financial counterparts. Real plus-minus measures on-court impact while taking into account a player's teammates and opponents, among other factors. If not for the money, Wall might be a good fit for the Lakers. They have nearly cornered the market on all-stars and former all-stars in the over 30 crowd, and that includes Carmelo Anthony. Said he was ready to re-sign with Portland, but then his good friend LeBron James called him and asked him to join him in L.A. And Anthony told Stephen A. Smith that there's only one suitable outcome now that he has.
We have the most knowledge on this one team than the whole NBA have, I think. So if we can't put that together and make something work, then that's on us. That's not on nobody else. And that's something that, that I'm looking forward to. We all talk about it. We all discussed it. We know what's at stake.
Is that your way of saying this championship a bust for this Lakers team this year?
It got to be. I mean, it have to be. Like, there's no playing around with that.
Keep the icy hot nearby. Lakers are set to trot out one of the oldest lineups in league history, but they still have 4-1 odds to win next year's NBA title at Caesars Sportsbook. They have the shortest odds by any team from the Western Conference. Brooklyn, though, still the significant betting favorite. You put $100 on the Nets, you only make $225 in profit.
Coming up on SportsCenter from Los Angeles, the Steelers are riding high after a Week 1 upset of the Bills, but are they the best bet for Week 2? Daily Wager with the answer. Clay Helton out at USC. Short term, it's Dante Williams with the whistle. Long term, who's the best choice?